Hello, in this video I will show you how to put together the Christmas village trees, which is an SVG file from Simply Crafty SVGs. So here are the 5 3D Christmas trees in the set. So we have, I'm going to just pull them one at a time. I'll show you how to put them together, but I've already folded them, so you can see that's one of them. I'm putting that up. There's another one, just kind of a pointy one. So one was kind of a wide pointy. They're all about the same height. This is kind of a pointy with a little bit of shape at the bottom. And I was just getting a little focus. This one is kind of the bent one. So it comes in pieces like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a hard one first, kind of a more difficult one, and then the bent one will probably be the hardest one, but we'll do an easy one after this. So these are the 3 pieces that go with the first one, which looks more like a traditional Christmas tree. So I'm going to put that aside for one moment and explain these. So we have, these are the base. So they're the same on, I made them the same size intentionally, so I could only show you once, and also no confusion in the files. So to make this, to put it together, you want to fold it, all the tabs. So this is the way you want to do it. So these are going to glue on the inside of an opening like this on all of them. So you want to kind of push it naturally down. And then we're going to kind of pull it out to train it, because it will be gluing like that. Get it out of the way. We just go ahead and add glue to this side tab here. Wrap it around. Line this area up in the space. I'll give you those. Make sure you can see it well. Trying to show you, but it's coming apart when I do it. You might want to give it a moment to dry. Then what we're going to do, I'm going to hold that tab just in case. I'm going to push those in just slightly. What's nice is that I can still get my finger in the other side right now. You still want to give it a good score. And I'm using American Crafts cardstock, at least on the base. Today I'm using Basil cardstock for the actual trees, because I like the green, but I rarely work with that. It's a little bit thicker. It's different than American Crafts. So we just go ahead and fold it over after we add glue to those tabs. I just want to get it pushed into the right place, so just matching up the edges as best I can. And then I'm going to reach in. You can just rotate it to make sure you can get the pressure inside. So be careful if you have a really, I have a pretty big, as far as wide at the tip, but I have small hands. So there you go. So all 5 of those are ready. So when we get there, so we'll just add them one at a time. So we'll start with this one. So you want to fold it like you see the tabs to go down. This one is kind of hard to fold. You kind of can put it on its side and fold it up like that. Then when you fold this, you want to fold it down and again kind of train it up, because it will, not really up, but it's down. It's going to glue to the next section down. So once you have that all done, let's go ahead and we'll just glue the side here. Just be careful not to like pull this off or anything. What's cool about this is we can put it flat like that and then fold it over. And if you have a wooden chopstick, that's something that would come handy, because you could do this if you didn't want to reach in or couldn't reach in very easily. It comes in handy with the pointy ones. So next, we're just going to glue this around this. So we're going to go one at a time around. So let's just do, I'm just going to do a couple at a time to start with. And then I'll do more. So you can kind of reach in the middle. Be careful with the glue because we don't have any panels on this. This is just meant to be nice little Christmas decor for decoration. So you can see it just angle it out. I'm lining up this edge to the tab fold. And you can resize these up a little bit. I mean, it just depends on the design. Like this one is a little bit bigger than the others. As far as like how much paper, it has 3 sections. I have other files that are Christmas trees, but this is just meant for this. There's no function other than kind of a village or a display, or I'm sure somebody handy out there can make it functional. Then we get to this, we can either push this in, we can put it under, but there's that tab right there. We can kind of do both at once, just to close it up. So you can see that's how you do it. So that'll be similar for the next one. But let's get the next one put together so we can show how these connect. So I'm going to put them together similar to this one, and then I'll come back and show you how to connect them. So now we have that middle section made, and then this will go in there. And then this is the bottom. So all I did on the bottom is glue the side tab. So just that tab right there. So what we're going to do is start with the top. And we're going to reach in. So let's go ahead and just move this, fold those tabs back, because again we're going to glue that onto the 3rd level down. So let's go ahead and add glue to, we're going to do 2 tabs right across from each other, because that's just the way I like to do those particular things. So let me pull one back. Oops. So I'm going to go ahead and line that up, as we'll do it in the same place. So I'm just holding it and attaching it on the inside. So you can see that's what it looks like. So I'm doing the opposite side now. Same thing. Just reaching in, applying pressure to the tab on the outside and inside. And just making sure that edge matches up to the fold. You can see in there. So we could do them all at once. That was my bad. Normally I'd do them all at once. So I'm going to reach in with my fine tip applicator. Now you could add them all at once and just go around. That's what I meant to do. Add the glue before you put it in. So we'll do the next one correctly. I forgot it was going to be hard to get a glue bottle in that second one. The nice part is that it doesn't have to be really, really sturdy. We just need to get it stuck because it's a small item. And I have glue on my fingertips, so let's get that off. And you can pop it down like that once you get it glued. Or you can leave it up, that's up to you. So let's do this one correctly. So it's the same thing. We'll just anchor that one. I'm going to go around to kind of match the seams somewhat. So this is the way you want to do it. So it'd be easier for you to reach in to add glue to those, even if you did it the other way. We're going to fold it back once it gets attached. So make sure it's good and dry for you before you do that. I'm just going to go ahead and add glue on these. So now we can do the opposite one. So I only do that because it helps center it, to help put the other ones on. And that's why you want to get those trained backwards. Making sure that I'm hitting all the tabs here. Just so you don't want to do that little trick with popping it in until they're good and secure. See, this looks like a real Christmas tree. Let's see if I can get it in. So just gently push it in, like that. So it will pop in. Just give it a little bit of... So now we want to add one of these bases. So I'm just going to pick one. And it's going to glue like this. Inward. Like that. I'm going to do them all at once since it's such a small piece. But you could do it just like I did up there. Just trying not to get it on the bottom part. Just carefully insert it. We don't care if you get glue on the inside, but you don't want to get it on the bottom where it's visible. So this paper, the bezel is a little bit different. I'm getting used to it. It seems not as pliable. It's one of the reasons, or it has a little bit more fiber to it too. And gluing it is just a little bit different than the American Crafts. So if you don't get it all the way up to the seam, it'll do something like that, so I didn't have it pushed all the way in. So you get used to it. You want to make sure it stays in place. So, and then we'll add glue to those tabs right there and just close it up. So next we're going to go to a simpler one, but it's going to be the same concept on the bottom. So I'll show you it on the next one how to close it up, but we're going to go through these same steps. So up to that point I'll show you and then you'll know this is the same process. And then you just fold it over. Make sure that it lines up at the bottom, so you want to kind of push it in gently. Go around the edges before you apply a lot of pressure. Make sure that the edges. So you want to make sure those tabs were a little bit up. And I'll do this part one more time, but it's the same for all 5. I always have a wet, damp paper towel to get my... So just rub on those tabs. Make sure it doesn't pop open on the bottom. And you can ink the edges, and this is... I'm just going to grab something across here. Didn't have it ready. If you just want to ink the edges a little bit to give it a little bit more distressed look, you can, or kind of to cover up any imperfections. It's always a nice thing. So I'm just using a brown. You could use a different green. If you had a green ink or something like that. Just a cute little Christmas tree to decorate houses. That one was a little poofy. So depending on where you're putting it, you may have to attach it with something. There you go. So the next one, we're going to do something a little simpler. You might as well alternate here. So this one's just a skinny one. Oh, that's not the one. Let's do this one. That's just a skinny one. So it's just like the top of the last one. You want to make sure you have all its scores folded. And then you're just going to add glue to this one side. Skinny tab. This is where the little fine tip applicator comes in handy. I'm going to fold that over there. I'm going to fold it over to match. Just try to get it flush at the tip here. Do it one more time here. So there's a long one. So we'll do another one of these. I get a lot of glue on my fingertips with this one. So what I'm doing is taking the side that's maybe not the greatest on this one and matching it with where the back of it. This time I'm going to just flip it through and then add glue. So I'm just going to make sure that it's oriented correctly. And if you needed, you can flip that back a little bit. So you can do one tab at a time. So we're just going to do that right now. It won't fold back right until I have it all the way in. I don't care about getting glue right here. So this is just a little bit too long. I thought I measured that, but we'll fix that. You won't have to do this. So they're going to be slightly, the tip's going to be clipped off. So we'll anchor the other side. And you see that went on crooked, so that's the reason why I put it towards the back. And then once those two are secure, you can go ahead and glue the other two back. Or the other four. Kind of want to push it up, make sure that it's getting through to it's matching up to the fold down there. And you do get a lot of glue on your fingers with this if you're using the wet glue, which is best because it sticks really well. Yes, and I'm using art glitter glue. So then we go ahead, we'll do this one more time. Get that remnants off the there's a tab that didn't go back. Just gonna hold that while I add glue. Some tabs require holding longer. It really depends on the type of paper you're gluing to. Then we fold it over. I'm just going to go around, make sure before I apply a lot of pressure. Get those matched up. Oh, this basil glue's definitely different than American Crafts. Recollection is pretty good too, as far as gluing. So you can see now it's on, and so there's a little pointy one. So we'll do this the same way, same exact way. So I'm not going to show you that. That's just a thicker version, but it's exactly like this. And this one, let's do a slightly difficult one. So this one will be a challenge. So we have this piece, and they all have numbers that will cut out on the tabs right here. See, it says right there, number 2, 3. So put them in order, 1 through 6. So I would just put pencil. I penciled it in to make sure you could see it. If you want to go ahead and fold all these before you start, you'll fold them like this, but some will go this way. So you'll see as you put it together. So just kind of get it flexible. So here's number, let's see, 4, 5, 2, 3. So number 6, just to give you an idea, especially this skinny part. So here's are the tabs. This one is really skinny. I just folded it over. Gonna fold it down like that. Fold that like that, and then it may go that way. Just we'll know when we put them together. So make sure they're in order, 1 through 6. And we're not putting these on. I'm not going to show that bottom piece anymore because it's the same process for all the other ones. So, but we'll show you how to put these last 2 together. So we're going to do it 2 ways, and it might work best for you one way versus the other. I don't necessarily like to glue the tips because it doesn't give you a nice tip at the top, but because of the shape you kind of have to. So you can start at the bottom. It's the biggest tab. It'll be the easiest way to do it. So this is number 2. You can see you just kind of angle it until it needs to match up. So we can match up that edge with the tab fold. And then we can gently match that up. So that's going to be the hardest part right there, is that tip. So you want to be gentle as you pull it up. So we can get that tip, because this is curvy. Not curvy, it's like, I call it the crooked tree. So you can try to start at the top. We'll do one so you can feel it and see how it looks, but I'll be honest, it's not the easiest to start at the top because it's so small. But I like to show people alternatives, so you can just see what the difference is. If you didn't see it, then you might be like, why didn't she start at the top? So I'm kind of folding it up, getting it in that section, lining up that edge to that top tab fold, and I'm gently just kind of placing it, because you see how that tip goes right there? So typically I could do it in sections, but this is so small it's hard to get your hand in, so we're doing it this way. So typically I would start at the top, connect it, but because of the angles on this, make sure those are folded. I had to do it slightly different, and of course the size is small. So if it were larger, I may have designed the way it goes together a little bit different. I would have. So I'm not a fan of starting at the top, but you do still have to pay attention as you go around to attach it, to make sure it doesn't get too, because it's going to be a part at the very top. Again, just double check your number every time you put a new one on, just in case something got jumbled up on your desk, which has happened to me many a time. And then try to keep your fingers clean and glue. So that one was slightly off, but that's okay. So this is meant to, I had done a couple houses that were inspired by the Grinch's Whoville. So I wanted at least a crooked tree, just for fun, to make it a different whimsical look. So this is my take on that. So it looks like I'm on number 5, so only 2 more to go. And that last one's going to be the hard one. So this is where this is going to come in handy on the last closure of this. We do our best we can. If you want to tackle this, this is great, but this is not, since there's 5 in the set, you could always bypass this one if you don't want to go for it. That's why I chose to do this one next. So we could end with some easier one. And I think more people will want a traditional look. I would think. So right here you could use, so if you can see all the tabs inside, I could use that to help with the pressure inside on that tab. That's how we're going to use it. So here's number 6. And so we have, yeah, I'm still here. So we're just gently move that like that. So you still can kind of spread it apart. And the hardest part will be this top piece. So we kind of have to do it all at once in a way. You can't really go, you're going to want to go from the top, kind of. Just going to situate it first. Get that underneath. I'm just going to get this one in place. I'm just getting it situated first, lined up. And I can barely reach in there for this, so I'm kind of pushing it in. And then getting that middle situated. So now, I'm going to come in with this. So I'm under the tab, so I'm using it as kind of a fingertip in a way. But a skinny one, obviously. So I can get it in place. So I apply pressure. I'm just going to put a dot of glue up here. See if I can pull these together a little bit better. Just give us a point. Which seems to be working just fine. So all that's left to do, so this is what the tree kind of crooked. All that's left to do is to insert one of these and close it up. So that's the same process. So I won't show you that, so one last one. And then I'll finish the other ones up and show you what they all look like. So this is just slightly different. It's not real difficult. Oops, we don't want to do that first. We want to do that after we do this. So we've already done this on the flat. This is a pretty big tab. I made it bigger at the bottom. Just line it up. I have just this little thing that my sister made for me that I can put water to make it, my little towel, wetter. So I don't have to get up and go to a sink all the time. More glue I get on my hands. So here we are. We're just going to go ahead and add glue to these side tabs here. Similar to what we did earlier. It goes around. And then I'm just going to put glue on this last little part here. Insert it under. There you go. Just like I did the last one, I think I'm just going to do a little, pull that tip shut a little bit. So, but in a display I would put the best way forward. But then again, we'll go ahead and put this in, and then it folds over. So in this, this is like the other one where I'm just going to adjust these a little bit so they're not as long. So that's it, and I'll show you them in a moment. So we have this one, the first one we did, and that little crooked one, and that one that's kind of shaped different, and that. And so you can make them different sizes if you want to make it a little bit bigger to give them contrast. You know, some people might want only that type of tree, and that's pretty easy to make. So I hope you liked this project. If you did, please give me a thumbs up below, and I thank you for watching.